Good evening, everyone. Since long time, we have been waiting for this discussion. This is not a class. This is not a promotional video. This is merely an interaction with the students, the community as a whole, who have been facing numerous issues when it comes to preparation. I wonder what method you would have left. Any of the methods you have left till now? I don't think so. Most of you might have done whatever is possible tooth and nail to qualify this exam. And that is what we all do. Welcome to this interaction. I'm Ashutosh, and today we would be talking about very fundamental, very basic things about preparation of UPSC. As an aspirant or as a person who has undergone the same grind and the same kind of grind, you understand both the terms, the kind of complicated process I have gone through, and with the kind of infame or disfame that we have gone through, right? I can make out that people have largely, or students largely face similar circumstances, whether it is about money, whether it is about the right kind of guidance, whether it is about consistent failures, or not being able to decipher exactly what is the problem. And obviously, no one is a doctor, no one is a surgeon. Everybody, more or less, can have a prognosis or at best diagnosis of certain factors which inhibit your preparation. Nobody can have an absolute information, as Simon is a scholar in PubMed who says that it is impossible to know all the facts. It is impossible to know all the information. It is always something which is restricted. So neither you, me, or anyone can know the absolute information, absolute problem. But yes, through some diagnosis, through some step-by-step evaluation, we can find out the problem. Now let us enlist the problems. The problems are of different nature and magnitudes. Many of you are giving prelims consistently, but you are on the borderline and you are not able to qualify. And that's quite understandable. The competition is huge. Right? There is a huge mass of people who are being added every year. And that creates the phenomena of, the mass turmoil, the mass upsurge in prelims. And that is a big problem because the number of seats don't increase, the number of intakes don't increase, and consequently the competition keeps increasing. Second types are those who have been somehow clearing prelims, or they are clearing their prelims, but they are not able to clear the mains, and this is happening consistently, either by few marks or by a huge margin. It can be both, but they are not able to consistently place their knowledge in the required format. That is the problem number 2. Or the second type of contestants. The third type are those who do not have a clue as to what exam is. They go and appear for the exam every year, but obviously they don't qualify prelims, and at the same time they are not even able to understand or even make a logical interpretation of how the paper had come and what they are doing, and how to match what they are doing with what is coming in the exam. How to attempt the entire paper. Now, one thing should be very clear to you. The UPSC examination, for that, hard work is a necessary input. It is not a privilege. It is not something extraordinary you are doing. It's a necessary input. You have to work hard. Now, the second logic is that hard work everyone will do, or most of you might be doing hard work, which you calculate in number of hours, which is not a logical criteria, but still, hours do matter. The second logic is that smart work. What constitutes smart work? If not just hard work, but there is something called smart work. Now, that smart work or smart work term has also been outdated. The smart work would have involved the access to resources faster, the understanding of the ideas and the nature of the exam better than others. Now, in the era of digital divide, which was there, in the era where the certain people had access to internet and the others did not have, that smart work would have worked very well. But today, where everybody has ChatGPT or Google or internet or 5G on their phones, they have numerous videos, they have numerous strategies with them. I don't think so. Smart work is fundamentally correct today. Then, what should be the right strategy? A hard work, a smart work, or something called as the hybrid work? The hybrid work involves multiple ideas. One, hard work is inevitable. Second, smart work, which saves your time, your resource, and somewhere brings you at par with the others as of now. Whereas the hybrid work is something which picks and chooses the best of several strategies. And for that, there is a need for minimum mental ability. That mental ability, that is the hybrid model, where we do not work only on the content, where we do not work only on the practice, where we do not work only on the diagrams and templates and formulas and some protocols, standard protocols, but we also work on your attitude and your ability. That is the hybrid work. So the hybrid model involves multiple strategies at different levels. For prelims, you may say that strategies will differ. For mains, the strategy will differ, but that is not true because the exam is a single examination. Whatever you study at any stage of your preparation is likely to be used in any other stage of preparation. Secondly, the answer writing or practice or question solving, right, does not guarantee you success. That is also quite true. If it was so, then everybody who is doing the same thing would have qualified. So what ails the student, and fundamentally what can be done about it? So we have, because of 5 years of an experience with my own ambition, right, where 4 mains and interviews were given and a lot of marks were scored, but still in spite of that the list could not be clear. And then with other numerous friends and colleagues who have been in the service or who have been who have not been able to qualify the service, right, there has emerged around a cumulative experience in these last 13 years, meeting a lot of students, both brilliant and above average students, and obviously a lot of them qualifying the exam and many more not qualifying it. So it has created, or it has given us what you can say a feel of the examination, and I would not say exactly there is some quantifiable method, but a feel, a sense of the examination where it becomes quite easy for us to decipher, to distinguish the one who will be and one who won't be. I'm not talking about finally what happens in the interview, but I'm talking about the previous stages of the examination. One who writes an answer, it becomes easy for us to find out exactly this answer would fetch him marks, or this kind of student is most likely to get through, right? Though most of the times it is correct, but yes, many times it may not be totally correct as well. So we cannot predict everything. So to overcome these hurdles for all these students who have been writing prelims but not able to qualify it, who have been on the margins of the prelims and yet somehow they have been evaded from the success. All those who are writing mains consistently, but then they are not able to find out exactly what and how to improve. Many of you who might be reading and studying for 14 months of 15 months of general studies, 5-6 months of optional, you have done a lot of things and yet you do not have the opportunity to write that mains for which you are waiting since long time. And many of you might have all the knowledge, but still you may not be able to understand how to utilize, how to articulate this knowledge into the success which is needed. So keeping in mind the thousands of students we have interacted, keeping in mind the kind of experience we have generated being in this ORN for almost 13 years now, and Mind you, we are not that YouTube wallas. We are more of the physical classroom teachers, and we have interacted with thousands of students, right? The biggest problem that comes is lack of channelization of the knowledge, the lack of capability on part of the students. For example, people do not have the ability to comprehend a question, whether in prelims or mains. Answer writing, solving it is the later part, but you cannot comprehend the question itself. People have problems with basic language, basic vocabulary. People have problems with interpretation of the topics. Right? People have problem with the basic dimensions of a particular topic. They are not able to understand what is the nature and the scope of the issue which they are studying. They have problem with use of newspaper and unnecessary information that one gathers from the lectures or the resources which are freely available. Now, if success was as simple as eating a pizza, it would have been quite a cakewalk for many of you. If money was the only criteria, many of you would have been selected easily, right? Or rather, not having it. So, keeping all this in mind and not making students go through the same process of reinventing the wheel again, and again, running from one program to another, right? Running from one buzzword to another buzzword, from one interesting model to another interesting model, or from one unique term to another unique term, right? We have simplified the process. The Samagra program is a comprehensive mentorship, free mentorship program, right? And mind you, it is free. There are no externalities, there are no nuances in this world free, there are no hidden agendas anywhere, anything. The purpose is simple and clear. How can we streamline, improve, transform these so-called passionate and willing people who are willing, who are ready to put the important part of their youth for this preparation? If they are willing to do it, right, we are willing to do it much more than that. So first, it's very clear that this program is a continuous mentorship program, a comprehensive model that the word Samagra itself indicates. Secondly, it is free of cost program. There is no hidden charge. There is nothing paying for material, paying for test, nothing of that sort. Nothing, zero, zilch, that is the program fee. Third, for whom it is? It is for all those who have been, like I said, consistently failing prelims, who have studied, read, revised, did everything, and still they are not able to find out what is the problem. The one who do not have the ability to write, the ones who are not able to comprehend a topic, the ones who do not have a disciplinary approach towards preparation, right? They keep changing their methods and methodologies and strategies time and again. For them, there is also need for a continuous, rigorous model. So those who have given prelims, those who have given mains, obviously those who have given interviews do not require such kind of grilling process. They require merely directions, which we can also give. So all those who are in this process since years, one or two attempts you have given, right, you are most likely to be ignorant about the actual nature of examination. If you know the data and the numbers and the analysis and the trends, then also it doesn't make a dent to your overall score in the exam. It doesn't matter whether you know the information, the data, the facts, analysis about UPSC or not, it doesn't make any sense. You are not the policy maker right now. You are a person who has to find out ways and means to clear the goal, the objective, and qualify the examination. So we are going to focus more on that idea, right, from start to finish. So now let's come to the method of the program, how it will be starting, what will happen, and for whom. Like I said, it is for all of you, though we have obviously a limited number. We cannot coach, we cannot mentor so many students, right? Because the moment the numbers increase, right, the quality of monitoring will reduce. Though you all are welcome, but there will be definitely a simple criteria, right, based on that first come first serve or based on the optionals that you have, right? So we have three optionals: public administration, sociology, anthropology. So students who have been facing problems in these three optionals in any form, conceptual, writing skills, lack of understanding, reference, whatever, right? Plus, obviously, all those who are having problems in general studies. Though you might say that, okay, do I need to have an optional combination only? Then I can be admitted, no. But priority is given to those with these optionals and the issue of general studies. Why? Because only then we can make sure that our methodology works best for the people and finally they qualify. Because if we cannot monitor one part, that is 500 marks of your optional, right, or your preparation, we might not be able to do justice to the overall preparation. Fine. So now let's quickly jump to the model that we are going to follow, right? This is the structure of the program. The structure of the program, right? Let me just tell you. Fine. See, so it's a complete one-stop mentorship, right? Especially leading to general studies, ProdEgyIAS, Anthropology, Sociology, essay, answer writing, and Prelims Strategy. This program has been divided into two phases. Phase 1 starts from, it is Mains-Centric, right? And this is the part of the program where we are going to work on your capability. 2, 3 very important things: capability, knowledge. Knowledge is not information, knowledge is the use of information. That's very important. Knowledge, vocab, fine, and somewhere your skills. So these are some strategic aspects which we are going to deal with, right? And we'll start with July. Right? This July, where we have specifically designed what will be the focus of GS, what will the focus of the optional. You can keep any optional here, the three optionals, right? We have taken PubAd only as an example. So, and the essay writing and ethics, how we are going to integrate that, right? And the diagnostic test. So there are 4 parts: focus of GS, understanding, analyzing, evaluating, reading, right? The right material, the right approach, the right orientation of reading it. Then your optional, then essay, right? Which will be again, which will require a lot of vocabulary, knowledge, and writing skills, and then evaluating them with diagnostic tests, right? This program will keep continuing from July, August, September, October, November, December, right? And it will go, like I said, till December. That is the first phase of the program or mentoring, right? Where the tasks would be given to you, the weekly targets would be set, the weekly test would be conducted, and we will design you and we will let you know exactly how you have to move forward with your study. You don't have to do anything beyond it, and that is why I'm emphasizing again and again that it's a very closed and continuous monitoring and mentorship program, right? Which obviously, if you falter in between, right, you are most likely not to get the benefit of this program. So kindly don't do that. Fine. So phase 1 will be from July, right, to December, where it will be mains-centric, because you have already given prelims or mains. Fine. So you do not need that kind of, right, but it will be a very strong hand holding and overall, you can say, an intellectual guardianship that we want to give you, right? You have to follow the steps to the T. You cannot deviate from this. Fine. And we guarantee you that there will be a transformative experience that you'll have, right? Then we'll give you the daily study schedule, weekly personal mentorship calls, right, with me or with teachers, with Ashutosh Pandey, me, or with teachers. We have mentors. I'll tell you the names also, right? They're quite expert in their areas. So you'll have weekly mentorship calls with them and you'll raise your doubts and issues, finalize a solution, again work on that. Fine. Then answer writing templates and real-time evaluation of copies. right? It will be more peer-to-peer evaluation of if you're writing descriptive answers, there will be discussion of the answer format and it will be peer-to-peer evaluated. Obviously, you cannot keep evaluating a lot of answers, but definitely the answers would be integrated in the discussion and the problem solving when it is done. So you'll get the answer formats for them, exact answer formats, what you must write. There cannot be a single format. So every time you get answers, right, we'll use different formats so that you learn that there are 4, 5, 6, 7 possible ways of writing an answer, whether it is GS or optional. Right? And it will be integrated GS and optional plan. Like for example, students from Sociology and Public Administration have a lot of overlapping with GS. Anthropology, various areas of your paper 1 GS and paper 3 GS, they are quite integrated. Fine, that also you have to know, right? And that is how it will be, your effort will be reduced and minimized. Fine, then essay boot camps, right? How to think about a topic, how to write a topic, how to interlink things, how to utilize your optional knowledge, your general studies knowledge for essay, and how to hone the vocabulary and obviously the presentation, aesthetics of an answer. That is equally important. Fine. Then personalized feedbacks will be there for every one of the students we select or those who join, who are there part of this program. For them, a personalized sheet will be maintained and we will chart out the progress, because over the time, as the model is same, but over the time, the pattern of growth or development of different students would be erratic, may not be similar. So we'll have to bring course correction methods. For that, we'll maintain a detailed sheet of you, every one of you. Fine. Then, once we are with through with this phase 1, that is your Mains-Centric analytical development, right? Then we go to the phase 2, that is the prelims, and this will start technically from not February but from January, right? So January, our focus would be on pre-orientation and micro topic analysis. As you see how questions are designed in exam, we are not concerned about how many questions of polity, how many questions of economy. We are not bothered about those things. We are bothered about what is the orientation, what is the nature, what is the behavior of the questions which are asked in the examination. That's more important, right? For example, if let me give you a simple example so that you can understand, right? If we are dealing with, let's say, the polity part or the governance part or the schemes part or economy part, or we are dealing with science and tech or environment, right? And you are having an information about it, right? So if I say the question that came in the exam, right? Ordinance can abridge a fundamental right. Now, obviously, on the face of it, the answer is no, it cannot, right? That is quite obvious. That when you look at the Article 13, I'm just giving you an idea, right? I'm not teaching, this is not a teaching session. So as you look into the Article 13 and you talk about the definition of law, it becomes obvious that ordinance is a law under this. But try to understand, ordinance is not a normal law. It is an exceptional situational based law. It's a contingency model which the constitution makers have incorporated. So even though other laws which are part of Article 13, right, they are treated similar to or equivalent to the ordinance, it is not same. It may be similar, it has same effect, same force, but with conditions. So when you are reading a topic, right, or whether you are talking about presidential powers or you are talking about emergency provisions or fundamental right, DPSP, or many of the case laws that are there, right? Or for that matter, if you are talking about a niche, a biome, a biodiversity pool, or what is that, gene pool, or you're talking about the height of the Himalayas, or you're talking about the glacial inundation or whatever, right? There are many things which have to be understood beyond the face value, and for that we will develop a pre-orientation and listing of the topics, the micro listing. The micro listing will help you understand or grasp the entire dimension of the your entire dimension of the general studies paper in prelims. So all the dimensions, right, would be explored, right? And then we'll also develop a brainstorming sessions for with the experts for CSAT as well, right? And integrate your test and practice and special add-ons like memory techniques, mnemonic techniques, memorization formula. Certain questions are straightforward in nature, right? When you talk about number system, integers, or sums, summations, or many kinds of other questions that come in the examination, right? Even your permutation and combination and probability questions, and many of the verbal reasoning questions, non-verbal reasoning questions. So there are certain specific methods by which you can, right? I know many of you might have gone through the methods, but we'll try to develop our own strategies, or at least create a minima of understanding where you can qualify the comprehension or use the comprehension, the reasoning part, and some mathematical part to qualify the exam. That is very important. And the target is not just to clear the cutoff, the target is to score maximum, right? We never know what criteria UPSC is using, right? Even though they have said it, but we don't believe them, right? So this January, it will be starting, right? Then, so these dimensions, then from February onwards, we'll take subject by subject, right? For CSAT, the quant reasoning, where quant is a very important area, which most of you fail. A lot of humanities students are there who are not able to use this properly or even understand it properly. We'll try to develop a very layman's analysis, layman's method for you to know it. Fine. So there will be topic by topic like polity, economy, 1 month, then history, geography, environment, right? Then current perspectives on that. So there will be sectional MCQs weekly. Then PYQ drills will be there. We'll try to focus on grilling you rigorously so that you memorize. There are 40% of the information which needs to be memorized. There is the static part of GS which needs to be memorized. There are certain things in which you cannot spend more than 5 seconds or 10 seconds while attempting your paper. So how you're going to do that, we'll talk about all that. Fine. Then there are revision models, right? Advanced strategies, full syllabus revision, and likewise. So this will go on the second phase. I'm not getting into all the technical details, which you can obviously get from the office if you want. There is a form, right? I'll tell you. So then May we'll have focus on your final revision and CSAT 7-day rapid revision sprint, right? Where we'll take up the most important ideas, most important concepts, and unique things which you need to know so that instantly you can solve the questions, right? The target is to make all of you equipped enough to at least be able to score 50 out of 100, not the marks, the question, 50 questions out of 100 in GS, and be able to compare. So we want to bring majority of you into the domain of the qualifying marks, right? Provided obviously UPSC does not do any blunders. The second aspect is that because once you clear the prelims, now the time will always be more or less. And how are you going to deal with that mains perspective? So once you have processed this 6 month phase 1 of mains, then after the prelims, it will be easy for you to go for tests, to revise through tests, and keep practicing answer writing. You don't have to read something. You don't have to read too much, right? The current affairs sessions are integrated in this, how to read newspapers, right? We have focused on many other things, right? For example, your daily, chart of or daily schedule of tasks, right? Weekly GS CSAT tests, 360-degree PYQ practice, most expected questions series, live doubt clearing trick notes, 45-day high intensity prelims plan, memorization every weekend, static tests, right? We have integrated a lot of things. Obviously, I cannot put everything into this video, right? Then how should you start your day from reading newspaper, making basic notes out of it, right? Then concept building part, then optional preparation, using essay. Now see, every day around we have a schedule of 12 hours to 13 hours for you. I know it may not be exactly to the T, but if we keep a schedule of 14 hours a day, you might end up being 11 or 12 hours, right? So that is one target and how we are going to do it. Then with our decades of experience, like I said, we have more a sense of the examination. I am not talking just about the content and the facts of the exam. And finally, you can see a summarization here, right? So how to integrate the optional and GS strategy, answer writing has to be mastered, right? Structured calendar, the disciplinary model has to be followed, right? You cannot be mechanized and automated, but you have to be disciplined, right? Targets have to be met, whatever is given. Prelims plus mains integration for 1 year, right? Obviously, almost for 1 year, you'll be there. Continuously, you have to do, you will be evaluated and monitored, and you will be even handpicked in case you are not performing as per the level, right? What books to be covered, right? We'll discuss all that also once you are in the program. How newspapers would be integrated, understanding typology of questions, right? It's not just about a good question or a bad question or complicated question or easy question. There are typology of questions. Questions are based on factual information. Questions are based on information plus analysis. Questions are based on analysis come discussion. Questions are based on criticism, analysis and discussion. Questions are based on information and critical evaluation. Various types of questions are there. Even when you go to the prelims, like I said, the typology, the classification of the nature of question is very important, not just the topic. Fine. Then we'll also give you or help you understand what basic static books you should use, then advanced content if obviously needed and you do not have the knowledge about many things, right? That will also be provided. All these programs, this will go from July onwards, right? That mid of July to technically your May, right? And obviously we'll give you 15-20 days on your own in the end, which you can now review and prepare whatever you want, right? So till the time you write your prelims and you're ready for the mains, we'll not leave you, provided, like I said, you follow the program to the T, to the dot. If you are committed and passionate and willing, right? We are more committed and passionate and willing than you. We will work harder than you. Provided, like I said, we must know, we must be able to assess a student's responsiveness towards the program. If one is not receptive or responsive, it will be very difficult for us, right, to manage it. Fine. And finally, like we have said, there is no fee. Though there is a restriction of the numbers, we cannot take numbers beyond a point because we have to monitor each and every child, right? Also, the first timers would be excused from this program. Those who have given prelims, those who have given mains, they can be the only part of this program, right? This program entails or focuses on 100% success. Though I would say it may not be in just the first year, but yes, few may have success in the very first year. The others may take maybe 1 year, but it is quite sure that if you follow this rigorous method, the analytical skills, the capability development, the attitudinal changes, the personality modifications, if you go content analysis, if you go through this process, right, definitely one or the other attempt you will qualify. If not just UPSC, maybe other exams, right? And that is why we have come up with this with a totally free-based model, right? And there is nothing like, comfy or ye fee. No, it is all about quality and transformation. Fee is not a consideration at all, right? Lastly, let me tell you what we have several people who might be, right? I will be there, right? Dr. Saurav Jain is there. He's a well-known faculty for science, tech, environment, anthro even, right? Then Reena ma'am would be there, who has expertise in sociology and essay areas, and being a computer engineer and masters in computer sciences and technology and a student of psychology, she has widespread dimensions, right? He is also an expert in several areas: environment, science, tech, biodiversity, and associated for 13 years. Obviously, we are not involving anyone who is a novice or an amateur or who thinks that he has just passed out and still he's capable. No, teaching is a different methodology altogether, right? Then we have second rung of mentors who comprise of people who have given interviews, right? Like Syed or Mr. Syed is there, fine, from Jamia. He has given 2 mains and scored very well, right? And he has a lot of command over certain areas, especially your tests, your evaluation parameters, answer writing skills, essays, a lot of. And then you have Nitin, who is Mr. Nitin, who is more concerned with current affairs and other areas. Then you have Ms. Apurva, who is an expert in law, governance, and case studies. And likewise, so we have a lot of people who are working, right, undercover, or people who are working tirelessly at various levels to help you, right, monitor. So there will be senior mentors who will be guiding you in certain directions. Then there would be the second level of mentors who will be constantly monitoring you. And there will be a level of evaluators, right, who would be obviously not only just monitoring your chart or growth or success, but they will also be somewhere evaluating the nature of presentation and the skills for presentation that is needed. How to comprehend a question, how to react, how to act, right? What are the emotional aspects of, preparing for the UPSC? What are the psychological changes which are needed, right? If you ask me, qualifying for prelims was majority of the times, I would say, not every time, but yes, majority, that means around 3 out of 4 times, it was mostly because of the attitude and the kind of temperament we had developed. Because every time when you used to prepare for the prelims, it was possible that we were not knowing more than 40%, 30% of the questions, and still we qualified. So there were some temperament, or there were certain reasons beyond just knowledge and factual knowledge, right? But yes, in the first attempt when I was preparing, that was a very rigorous effort that was put, right? There was nothing almost for 10, 12 months, right, beyond study, nothing, nothing whatsoever, right? So as per the experiences, as per the wide mandate of students we have seen, as per the wide domain of people we have interacted, and the sense that has developed, right, not merely in terms of knowledge or in terms of fact or analysis, but in terms of the understanding that, okay, who has or who seems to be more capable in terms of qualifying the exam. The qualifying exam is a strategy. It has nothing to do with your intellectual prowess, nothing to do with your intellectual ability, right? It can be developed, it can be nurtured, provided the right direction is taken. So thank you so much for now. There may be a form in the description. Kindly fill, show your willingness, give your details properly so that we understand it, right? We are starting this program in July, right, mid-July, and from there on till May, this will go on. You will come once you are in the office, once you come and meet or you talk to us, we'll give you the detailed one by one classification of the tasks, because unless we know you exactly what is your problem, right, the task would not be divided, or they will not be allotted to you unless we actually understand what is the level of preparation right now. Fine. So see you then. Thank you so much for listening to me. Right? You have any queries and doubts, do write to us. All the best. Thank you so much.